Hey everybody, it's Actual Dragon Tears here. So, with the release of Red Crow and the new DLC operators, I decided I want to take a look at them, and I'll be starting with Echo. I'll be going over his specs, meaning his armor and his speed. I'll be going over his weapons, which I personally prefer, and which weapon you might prefer. And also going over his gadget and how I use it and how you have other possibilities of using it. And then to top it off, we will finish off with what is his customization, because there seems to be something weird about DLC operators that you can't use any of the previous customization on. So let's get right into it. Starting with his specs, we have that he is a 3 armor, 1 speed operator, which I don't know if that's true or not. Because yes, he can eat a lot of bullets, but I feel that he's faster. Like he's almost 2-speed operator. He's not as fast as Ash or Jaeger or Bandit or one of those faster moving operators, but he doesn't feel as slow as Fuse or Blitz. He feels rather nimble. But the armor does allow him to eat a couple bullets. I have kind of tanked a couple shots as him, which is really nice. I like when you can eat a couple bullets and keep fighting. So jumping over to Livecom now, let's actually take a look at his weapons and their statistics. So his weapons are the Supernova, the MP5 SD, the Bearing 9, and the P229. So starting with the Supernova, it's 32 damage, of course it's pump action, and 50 mobility, along with a capacity of 7. I honestly do not know how those recoil patterns work that they display, so moving on. The MP5 SD has a lower damage of 23, rate of fire of 800, mobility of 50, and a capacity of 30. I rather like this SMG actually. I find it has very low recoil, controllable recoil, as well as I feel like it hits heavy. It doesn't hit. I know its damage is pretty low, but I feel it feels pretty heavy hitting. Moving on to a kind of forgotten pistol. I haven't even customized it. The P229 does 50 damage, is semi-auto, mobility of 50, and only a capacity of 12. I admittedly have never even used this yet, but I might give it a try. But the reason why I don't use it is because they have this monster, the Bearing 9, at 32 damage, 1,100 rate of fire, mobility of 50, and a capacity of 25. I like this thing better than the SMG-11, actually. I feel that this one is a lot more controllable, and I feel like it's easier to get headshots with it, which is pretty ironic, saying that the SMG-11 is most commonly referred to as the pocket sniper. I would honestly snipe with this if you could get an ACOG on it. And his 2 secondary gadgets, are deployable shield and barbed wire. Moving on to his customization, we have here that he only has 2 headgears. This is what I was talking about with they can't use any other like previous season headgears, and they get the special season pass exclusive Venom, which looks pretty nice. I paired it with the snake camo on my weapons, so I think I kind of like that. And then they have the Red Crow specific camo, which is kind of for him it kind of looks like scales, but for everyone else it looks like a normal airborne camo. But he kind of like has the snake thing going for him. And in terms of uniforms, he gets 2. He actually gets the SAT Paratrooper, which I think is a little bit too neon green. It's a bit bright, but his default is blue, and his SAT Airborne attire, which is his again his season pass exclusive, is this really nice black and red, which matches the Red Crow color scheme, and I like it a lot actually. I mean, I do like the blue a lot too. In fact, I might switch off occasionally but I don't mind using this. It actually looks really nice. So to start off with the looking at the weapons, I am going to use my preferred loadout, which is the MP5SD with the bearing 9, and we're going to be testing its recoil along with its bullet penetration. So testing out its recoil, I will aim and I will not resist recoil at all. I will just hold down the trigger button.
Insertion. Down to 5 seconds.
So here, of course, we have our
Good work.
recoil pattern, which is just straight up, but it's at a gradual rate. It's not shooting up. So if I resist recoil, you can see I get a very tight grouping that extends all the way into the next room. In fact, let's see if we can. Yep, see, very nice tight grouping. That's about a body width. So now let's actually go over single penetration, which I'll use right here, where we have 3 walls that it can punch through. So we launch one, or we shoot one. It went through. It did not impact the other wall. So it seems like the suppressor is severely damaging its penetration. If I stand a little bit closer, well, that time it didn't even punch through. That's weird. Oh, that time it did. But so yeah, it doesn't have the best penetration. Of course, its chunk shooting, or its chunk ability, is okay. This is good for murder hole, a decent sized murder hole. Now let's move on to the bearing 9. Again, let's test its recoil. So I'll be aiming right here, and I won't resist any recoil. Okay, so as you can see, with its higher rate of fire, it does definitely have a higher recoil. But let's try and control that recoil now. See, I'm not as good with the higher rate of fire, but it's still rather decent. This is head height, so I'd probably get a headshot spray in there. Let's try again. That time was a bit better. I got a lot tighter grouping, and if we go outside, we can actually see right there. That's a nice body width. Now let's test its bullet penetration before we run out of ammo here. So if I shoot here, we'll notice that it shot 2. You'll notice that the hole is considerably smaller, about half as small. It did punch through, and it looks like it did impact the wall behind it, but it did not penetrate it. We'll try. Oh, we'll try again. Let's actually aim high. So it looks like it went through, and again, it impacted the wall. Alright, and this match is going to end, so right on time. Alright, so now that we are here with the other 2 weapons that he has, the P229, which is very similar to the P226. I actually like its iron sights a lot better than the P226. But moving on to the Supernova. This is a typical shotgun, pump action. I kind of find it hard to express its damage. I found it to be inconsistent, but I have people told me like, oh no, they got one shots across the room and all that. For me, I find it inconsistent, so I don't like it too much.
5 seconds and counting.
But let's test its pattern at range.
Was not located.
So at range, this is a considerably good penetration. Actually, I'm kind of surprised by that. We get a moderately tighter grouping when we ADS. Alright, now that we've played with the shotgun a lot and almost completely destroyed our test wall, let's take a look at the pistol. So,
15 seconds.
its recoil is very decent, very controllable, tight grouping, and its penetration, it impacted the wall, so same as the bearing 9. its reload speed is a pistol. So moving on to Echo's gadget, the Yokai. It is a drone that is allowed to attach to the ceiling and also has this really disorienting shockwave that sends towards opponents. I like his gadget a lot. It's pretty good. It's a bit wonky in terms of what surfaces it can attach to. Some, it just kind of floats there for like 3 seconds and then drops down. Others, it just clicks right onto it. But once you click onto it, you become kind of camouflaged, and you are able to, like I said, disorient the enemy. It's as simple as just pointing and shooting. You point at them, you click, and they are essentially drunk because their screen is wobbly. It's kind of faded along the edges. It's fuzzy. It's very hard to see. I don't think it affects your movement in any way. It just affects your vision. The way I like to use it is flying it towards vital passageways for the attackers. This would include main doorways, main breachable areas, and other areas like that, hallways that they have to go through. You, of course, are able to detach it from the ceiling and just drive it around to wherever it is needed. So if you are in, say, one room and there's 2 people who just breached in and your yokai is 2 rooms away, if you have enough time, you can easily just detach it, drive it into the room you're in, attach it to the ceiling, and disorient both of them, and possibly get the double kill, which is very good. So overall, I really do like this operator. In fact, would be very competitive for my favorite defender. He is very good. Like I said, he's 3 armor, and it feels like 2 speed. His weapons are fantastic. I love the MP5 SD and the Bearing 9. And his gadget is very, very useful. Not only does it act as a trap in a way towards the attackers, it's also an extra camera. Granted, only you can see it, so if you're playing as him, you might want to have a mic to communicate with your friendlies. It's still a camera that you can use to make callouts. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like, as well as subscribing if you want to see more of my content. It really does help me and get my channel to grow. If you disliked it, go ahead and dislike it, and also leave a comment why you dislike it, just to give me feedback. What did I do wrong? What can I improve on? That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.